Canada, 15-0.
Are the Winnipeg Blue Bombers still the dynasty team they have been for the last 5 years?
Full kudos to Sam Friedman on that one. What an incredible trailer there for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. As we join our Matthew Shinetti, and Matthew, look, we know it wasn't the best season for the Bombers. They ended with a 10-8 record, but they're hosting the Grey Cup. And look, there's so much veteran experience on this team right now that we know we cannot count out this team.
Yeah, and they're doing something they haven't done before, Kate, which is they're going back on the road for the playoffs for the first time since 2019. And they're going through the East for the first time. They did that back in 2011 when they were an Eastern team and got to the Grey Cup. But this team, this year, the mantra has been in the locker room, get back to Winnipeg, especially now that they are the crossover team. And if they do that, they will do something no team has done before. Not only host a Grey Cup as the home team, but do it as the crossover team for the first time ever. They might have to do it without Nick Dembski. He's testing out that hamstring. We'll know by 1:30, but it might mean a little more work for this man right here, Brady Oliveira. You know, Brady, as you come in here, good to see you, man. Good to see you. How much more work might it mean for you if Nick Dembski doesn't go today?
Yeah, you know, obviously we know how crucial Nick is to our offense. He's one of the biggest playmakers in this league, so we'll see if he can go today. If not, if we need a bigger workload on my back and the offensive line, then so be it. But there's multiple ways to win this game. But just know if my number is called upon and the offensive line has to take the game over, we would love to do that.
We were talking, I remember back in late August when you had 137 yards and you guys won here, you said, don't count us out. What about the culture of this team, especially over the last 5 years and getting to those Grey Cups and winning those championships, prepares you for this crossover journey?
Yeah, don't count us out. And why not us? And why not us? This team has a bunch of veteran leadership all across the board on both sides of the football, on special teams. We played a lot of meaningful football games. And this will happen to be the start of our journey in meaningful football games in November. So guys have been here before, have played in big games. And we understand the urgency that is needed to, get these victories and keep moving forward.
Appreciate you. Good luck.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it, man.
Well, when you're talking about those who might have to stop Brady Oliveira, and you look at the Owls' defensive line, well, it's not going to be Sean Oakman. He was released by the Owls after he was indefinitely suspended by the league for breaching its gender-based violence and harassment policy. And also, there is some health issue as well. When you take a look at Lowell Ugawak, we don't know if he's good to go inside that defensive line for the Alouettes. But Jason Moss isn't worried. He's used over 85 players this season, and he has seen not only his veterans produce, but he's also seen those depth guys produce as well. And maybe that compete level has risen here inside Montreal because of Davis Alexander. He's 11-0 as a starter in the regular season. It is now the postseason. Maybe one man who understands what it's like to outcompete the Winnipeg Blue Bombers on a stage like this, well, could be the man who scored the most dramatic goal, maybe in Grey Cup history, Tyson Philpott. Tyson, as you come in here, good to see you, man.
Sir, good to see you.
How do you beat the Winnipeg Blue Bombers today?
Just playing Alouette football, playing three-phase football, and just, doing what we do, and can't wait to show that.
What is it about Davis Alexander as a starter that not only does he lift the offense, but every phase of this team?
Yeah, it's just that dog in him, what's understand doesn't have to be spoken, and he carries that with him, and he just raises the level of just fight within this team, and everybody wants to leave it all on the line for him.
Appreciate this. Good luck today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And Kate, something big is going to happen today. If the Montreal Alouettes beat the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, then Davis Alexander starts that journey in the postseason undefeated, and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers don't make the Grey Cup for the first time since 2018. But if the Bombers win today, they are sending a statement across the whole league. They will go to Hamilton if it means a chance getting back home to Winnipeg. Okay?
Fantastic stuff from our Matthew Schneider. How cool is that, too? Just players coming in off the field. You got to love this. And you know what? If you're a Winnipeg Blue Bomber fan, too, you just got to love the fact that this team, as I said off the top, it's been there, it's done that. But for a guy like Zach Collaros, for example, this is his 9th CFL playoff start. That does not include the Grey Cup. We were just debating all of this right now. That's so much experience. And on the flip side, we are so excited to see Davis Alexander start in his first postseason game. But, Enoch, when you just look at the veteran leadership of this team, I mean, this is going to be a difficult task for Montreal today.
It definitely will. You look at this offense with Zach Collaros and what they do offensively that's going to be successful. It's going to be an uphill battle for them, obviously coming to Montreal and this hot team, hot Davis Alexander as well. But I'm looking at Brady Oliveira to really carry the load. And this team has led the league with 145 first down rushing yards. They have to rely on Coach Hogan. Cannot really go back and forth with Zach Collaros and Brady Oliveira. He's got to really rely on Brady Oliveira throughout the course of this game. And they need to get going really early if they want to have a chance today.
It was almost like Brady knew something that we didn't know in that interview with Matthew right there. I mean, he was talking about the meaningful game. This is the first time we're playing a meaningful game. I think that locker room has basically come around and said, hey, we might have not had a great regular season, but we've been there, we've done it collectively. Also, the part about him looking kind of confident, like he knows something. They had a preferred path, this team. They wanted to play the Alouettes. They wanted to go east. I think that they quietly, they're not going to say it, but I think they really like this matchup, and they think they could beat the Montreal Alouettes. I'm certain after talking to folks this week and then knowing that they crossed over and wanted to go to Montreal, and then watching Brady, Winnipeg thinks they could beat this team tonight.
Well, for my Bombers, I'm concerned. I'm really concerned. I'm concerned. Is because of the offense. And I say this because there are two people that are going to be missing. Streveler is out, and they're saying Dembski is a game-time decision, but even if he's healthy, he's not the Dembski that we saw in the regular season. I say that because this team only scored 38 offensive touchdowns, and 16 came from those two guys. Streveler had 9 on the ground, and Dembski had 7 in the air. Where are they going to make up those touchdowns? Who are they going to get them from? Who are they going to get them from the receiving corps? Are they going to use Oliveira more in the red zone? Because we know Zach is not going to run the ball and do the thing that Streveler did. So I'm concerned. We see Dembski right there warming up. For their concern, they're hoping he can play. But if he can play in this type of weather, is he going to be the Dembski we saw of old? So I'm a little concerned for our Bombers right now.
I would say, too, when it comes to a guy like Dembski, during the regular season, when we watched Davis Alexander come back too soon, I mean, look what happened, right? And it's a hamstring. This is a finicky thing, but you're asking where the offense comes from. I mean, I'm looking at Brady all day when it comes to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and what he did, as I said, back in Week 12 for 210 combined yards, and they'll be relying on him today.
There is a shot, and I know we all think it's Brady, and it is Brady as the focal point of this offense, but there are going to be shots versus this defense, Montreal, the zone blitz, and all the looks they give you. There's going to be shots down the field. If they can protect Zach, I think they like the matchups they can get down the field.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what, too? It is interesting. I go back to your point, Chezzy, when you were saying, look, they picked this matchup. I mean, they rested those starters in that final game in Winnipeg against Montreal.
Yes.
So they wanted this one. They've been preparing for this one. Going to be a fascinating one with much more on this Eastern semifinal. Let's go down the hall to Lapo.
Playoff time, so we used the coach's playbook virtual set. How great is this? Talking about the Eastern semifinal. After watching a couple of games, these are my keys to the football game. Let's start with number one. Zach and Davis both using their legs. And let's talk about this. You got two really good defense playing. Let's start with Zach Collaros. You know, Montreal's defense, they bend but don't break. They play a lot of zone. They've given up the fewest big plays in the Canadian Football League with only 37 all season. Zach's got to use that special ability to use his legs to break those zone coverages down and make some big plays. Davis Alexander, a little different. Montreal doesn't run the football. 8th in the Canadian Football League. They like to throw it. Winnipeg Blue Bombers, they are the best in the Canadian Football League at making sure you don't get a lot of completions. So Davis has got to create plays with his legs to be able to get some of those easy completions and those shot plays downfield. Let's go back to the biggest thing that's going to happen in this game is the turnover margin. Why does Montreal win? Because they don't turn the ball over offensively. First in the Canadian Football League and the fewest giveaways, facing a Winnipeg defense or a Winnipeg offense that has the most takeaways offensively. So they've got to, Winnipeg, protect the football. Montreal's done it all season long, protecting the football, getting takeaways. For Winnipeg to have any opportunity, they've got to protect the football today. And I think very importantly, when you have a couple of great defenses, special teams got to be the difference of this game. Let's start with Winnipeg's most outstanding nominee for rookie and special teams player, Trey Vavel. Spectacular year. 4 touchdowns this season. Can he create field position to help this Bomber offense? We got James Letcher on the other side. Junior, he's going to make some big plays on a missed return, punt return, any type of opportunity. Don't forget, we got Sergio Castillo, Jose Diaz-Malta, most field goals in the Canadian Football League. So I think in some way, shape, or form from special teams, it could be a difference maker. Now, how about this stat? The top 4 special teams tacklers in the Canadian Football League are in this game. Tyrell Richards, Alex Gagne, Michael Ayers, and Jalen Smith for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Those guys are the top 4 tacklers in the Canadian Football League, so it'll be interesting to see how they perform on special teams. I can't wait. This is an awesome game. How about Coach's Playbook? Virtual set, talking special teams to end. Nothing better, Kate. Let's go get this game going.
Looks fantastic. BC Play is getting set for the Western Final. Fans hoping to see another incredible performance courtesy of Nathan Rourke. Our Farhan Lalji setting up. We're going to hear from him next.
Nathan Rourke is a front-runner to win the league's MOP award.
Rourke has time. Looks to the end zone. It is caught. The remarkable Rourke strikes again. A 70-yard scamper all the way to the end zone.
Is he the MOP of the league right now?
Absolutely, Milton. Why are you yelling? Touchdown, Nathan Rourke. The unstoppable BC Lions offense strikes again.
This team is going to go as far as he can carry them, and he can definitely carry them to the Grey Cup.
I just asked them, please just keep me in the loop, you know, and we'll see where the dominoes fall, and with these other teams, or if it's here or whatever.
The BC Lions traded Vernon Adams Jr. to the Calgary Stampeders.
Just excited for the new start, the new chapter in my book, to get it going over here.
I'm excited about the fact that, you know, for the first time in a while, that I know where I'm going to be next year.
The Lions have decided to go with Nathan Rourke.
Not only the hottest quarterback, but maybe the hottest player in the league right now.
We can play with anybody. We know in the playoffs it's anybody's game.
Let the debate and the conversation begin whether it was not the right move.
Sometimes in sports, storylines are written so perfectly, and that is certainly the case today in the Western semifinal as we welcome in our Farhan Lalji. Farhan, it is very simple today. It is Vernon Adams Jr., the guy that the BC Lions passed up on, taking on their face of the franchise in Nathan Rourke. It should be absolutely spectacular there at BC Place today.
Yeah, no doubt, Kate. And that storyline has been there for the first two meetings between these two teams. VA's had to answer those questions. And the reason it's still a thing here the third time around is because he hasn't beat BC yet. And he does admit that that does make it something that he still thinks about. But overall, he's past all of the individual conversations. He's not thinking about MOPs, all-stars, passer totals and things like that. He just wants to win this game. And for that to happen, they've got to stay in this game early. The Lions have had early success in both games against Calgary this season. In that first game, VA threw interceptions on the first two drives. It allowed BC to race out to a 21-0 lead at the end of the first quarter. In the second game, VA got sacked 4 times in the first half. The Lions led 21-6 after the first half, 31-9 after 3 quarters. So it's so important for VA to have some early success and to not get rattled and not get down on himself, for them to stay in this game through the first quarter and through halftime. Now, a couple of matchups and personnel things to keep an eye on. Number one is Calgary's right tackle. William Barnes is their third-string right tackle. He's a rookie. He'll be playing in his first CFL game here today in the playoffs. Imagine what that's going to look like if he gets a lot of one-on-one matchups with Matthew Betts. Calgary's going to have to give him some help, and we'll see how that impacts the rest of their offense. And then on the other side, James Butler, who's been dealing with a foot injury suffered in the last game. I saw him at practice on Thursday, and he did look a little bit tentative. He did get some reps. He's listed as a game-time decision, and he's really hoping to play. I'm sure there's going to be some pain management involved, but, you know, when you look at a player like that who's among the league leaders in yards after contact and missed tackles forced, that requires a level of explosiveness. Can he be that guy even if he does play? Good thing for BC is they'll also have Xander Horvath in the lineup. He's had some success against Calgary, and he's a pretty good closer as we're thinking a little bit about baseball later today.
Baseball? I wasn't thinking about baseball at all. Is there a baseball game on today? Baseball. I'm just thinking about CFL football all day, aren't I? And Ches, you aren't just thinking about the QBs in this game, are you? You're looking at this BC defense in the Western Semi.
Yeah, and a turnaround. This is, if you look at the last month of the season, this defense is near the top of the CFL in a lot of categories, and that's probably concerning for the rest of the West and the rest of the teams in the CFL playoffs. This defense, they're playing a lot of man coverage. They're getting after you with their rush, and they mix things up on the back end. They're tough to handle, and Farhan just talked about it. And then there's an issue with the Calgary offensive line, the right tackle, Barnes getting his first start. I mean, with these guys and what Matthew Betts and they've done up front, and the reason I say this is because it all comes together. The fact that this offense is scoring at the rate they're scoring it with Nathan and how explosive they are. Now you get behind and you have that defense playing the way they are. This team is clicking at the right time. We had questions early about their defense. Not now.
Yeah, we can talk about defense, we can talk about special teams, we can talk about Butler, but this is all about Nathan Rourke and Vernon Adams. And speaking of Vernon Adams, the Calgary Stampeders, they brought him here because of this, but just not to get him back to the playoffs, but to get him to the Grey Cup. And how about your journey starting against the team that got rid of you, against the hottest team in the league right now, against the hottest quarterback, the hottest player in the league right now? You have that opportunity right now. And I know some people are going to say, well, he doesn't need to try to step up and play against Nathan Rourke. If he doesn't, he doesn't have a chance, because we know Nathan Rourke is going to come in here and light it up. He's been doing it all season long, especially the last 6 games. So VA, he has to go out there and try to match him. And you guys know how I feel about VA. I still say if he's on his game, he can be great, but he hadn't been on his game. I talked about it, Chaz. It's like that date you've been waiting for at the restaurant, and they never show up. He still hasn't showed up.
Wow.
But I think he can show up tonight. He's going to show up. He's going to pay for it. He's going to buy me dessert. He's going to take me dancing after. We're going to have a good time. So that's what I'm expecting out of VA today, Chaz.
I love it. When you look at those two quarterbacks, to me, the biggest difference is when you look at VA, he needs to play well within their system. But Nathan Rourke is the system for the BC Lions. And for that Calgary defense, they'll need to get to him really early. But the tough thing about this team when they're trying to get to Nathan Rourke, it's not just about getting to him. We've seen him shrug up defenders. We've seen him make plays downfield. He's able to do that. You have to be disciplined. You have to be on time and where you need to be. Because when you get to him, you have to be specific and you have to be strong, because he'll get rid of you. And so he'll make plays, and that's when he becomes a superhuman, the super quarterback that he is, when he extends plays, when he gets out of the pocket, and that's when he finds his fuse downfield. So they have to be disciplined, pass rush-wise, disciplined as far as DBs is concerned as well.
Did you hear what Bill said? He said we can talk about defense, we can talk about special teams all we want. It's all about the quarterbacks. That's an offensive guy talking. You don't think that...
No, it's all about the quarterbacks.
This is playoff football. It sure as heck matters what these two defenses do. It might be more important. Right now, it's going to be who can get stops, who can limit the explosive plays. It definitely matters what the defense does. And
these quarterbacks control it. These quarterbacks, we got 2 mobile quarterbacks. Nathan Rourke, rushing for 70-yard touchdowns, running away from receivers,
he also
DBs.
16 turnovers, 16 interceptions.
But he averaged 300. This is about the quarterback.
Do you think you said running? Do you think Vernon uses his legs more in the playoffs? And I think he should.
He should. He should. He's going to have to.
Yeah.
He's going to have to pull out all the stops. He's going to have to do everything he can.
Ability.
Yes, he does.
You know what? I can't believe I'm saying this. I actually agree with you, too. There is so much more to it. And you know why? I go back to when the Montreal Alouettes, when the Alouettes won the Grey Cup, you have to admit that was.
So you think defenses win championships?
Don't let them intimidate you. I'm not. Then they went and won the Grey Cup, and then we heard about it forever. Then we didn't give them a shot.
Do you think defenses win championships, Kate?
So yes.
Let's go to La Police, who's down the hall.
He's gonna get
three
the 2
keys
of us
to the Western semifinals. Lapo?
Watched a ton of film this week of the BC Lions and the Calgary Stampeders. Here's my keys to the game, and let's start with the BC Lions. The keys for them, and these are all Nathan Rourke things. What they are great at, attacking weaknesses of defense, Rourke's ability to use his legs. And when they keep creating first downs after first downs after first downs, touchdowns are going to show up. Let's talk about attacking defenses. Now, quarterbacks got to get the ball out of their hands quickly. Why? To create space for their teammates. Watch this. Zone drop out. Watch how quickly he throws this football on the outside. He created space. Now Hatcher can go through, make a miss for the touchdown, all by recognizing it. Watch this. Another pattern concept. But Calgary's trying to slow Nathan down. What do? They blitz him. This is an empty protection. Not enough guys to protect. But Nathan sees it immediately. He sees the weakness of this zone coverage, and he strikes it to Justin McInnis. And when the safety's out of position because he threw it on time, leads to another touchdown. I love this throw. Check down, can't find my guys. I take the underneath throw, which is a 6-yard gain, but what's it turn into? A 60-yard gain, getting his athletes the ball. Now, say you do it perfectly. 2nd and 15. Look at all these guys dropped in zone. Hey, we got him 2nd and extra. What are we going to do? No, he starts to use his legs. He scrambles around till the coverage breaks down and then creates another big play. His legs are the thing that is the difference. He averages 9.2 yards a rush. Watch this from the last Calgary game. Everybody's playing the run, pulls it, gets a huge touchdown to kind of blow this game open. So Nathan Rourke's legs are a big deal in this game, I think. And let's talk about this. You know, as I think about Calgary Stampeders, what do the Calgary Stampeders got to do? Couple of things. Keep Vernon on the field, run the football, win the turnover margin. My first point for Vernon is, Don't try to keep up with the Joneses. And what I mean by the Joneses, I mean Nathan Rourke. Don't watch this game. Don't see him making crazy throws. Last game, he had 2 interceptions on bad decisions, trying to force balls inside. Take the crumbs, stay on the field. Pat Delmonico, offense coordinator, run the football to Dedrick Mills. Keep Nathan Rourke and company on the sideline. And the most important thing, Calgary is number 2 in the Canadian Football League in turnover margin, winning the turnover margin battle. Do not give this BC Lions offense any more opportunities to score, hold on to the football, win the turnover margin. Calgary gets the win. Now, my last point, BC's going to be loud. A lot of fans there. Crowd noise might be a factor for Calgary. Looking forward to this West semifinal game.
And even Lapo, the OC, thinks that defense wins championships. Isaac Adeyemi-Berglund, what a season for him, recording 11 sacks, 3 more than his previous high. More on the East nominee for most outstanding Canadian right after this. His game day eye black is one of the most intimidating in the CFL, but don't be fooled by the look because there is so much more to Isaac Adeyemi-Berglund than meets the eye. While he may be a menace on the field, especially this season, recording a career-high 11 sacks, off the field, he is a gentle giant who is committed to giving back.
When I put the eye black on, it allows me to go to a place where nothing matters.
Adeyemi-Berglund, the eliminator. Adeyemi-Berglund gets there.
That puts him in a mindset that it's time to go to war and it's time to hunt.
Isaac Adeyemi-Berglund makes the play.
It's just violence.
He is wrapped up by the CFL's sacks leader. Let's go!
Face paint is definitely his mask.
On the field, he's an animal.
He has a warrior mentality.
It truly is life or death.
He's not just a guy who's playing football and making money. He's a guy who sees his community and wants to be involved.
They said every year they're going to try to bring more and more.
Isaac called us up and said, hey, I heard about you guys and I'm looking at getting involved in the community. Would you have anything for me to do? So we said, sure, come on in. When did you start?
Was it December last year?
But he's using that same passion that he brings, you know, to the locker room, to the field on game day, and he's doing that in the community.
Catch that, Liam. Lock in. Lock in, Liam.
He goes and does youth events. He speaks to up-and-coming football players. His main thing has always been to give back to the Canadian youth football system.
I came to know Isaac through social media when I started with Dartmouth High 8 years ago. Anytime I send him a message and, reach out to him, he is there in a heartbeat, sending a message back and wishing the team good luck.
Win or lose, live or die, adversity comes for us all. And what you do in those moments is what defines you. It's been really important for me to be able to go back and speak with some of these kids at Dartmouth High.
Dartmouth, Nova Scotia is Isaac's hometown.
The East Coast, and especially Dartmouth, it is difficult. There's not a lot going for you, and everything that you want in life you have to take, and you have to earn.
Isaac grew up in a spot that's not known for football as a primary sport, but he realized very early that he had great grades and that he really wanted to go and do something bigger with his life.
This has been Isaac's story, reaching beyond the scope of his circumstance.
Hi. Hey, how are you? My mother, she was just, a single-parent household. She's a cleaner. She's been cleaning at these 2 buildings in Dartmouth, and she's cleaned at other buildings as well. How's work going? She loves her job, and nobody can tell her anything. And she's been so inspirational in terms of that aspect.
We always got him to practice. We always got him to where he had to be.
They've been there from day one, and they continue to show up every single day.
How are you guys? They've been so influential in me as a man and inspiring me to continue to grow as a man and as a person within the community. You guys look fantastic.
His mother's and grandparents' determination rubbed off and showed itself in Isaac's desire to play not just football, but basketball.
That was kind of my first love. It was the first sport that I sucked at as a kid.
I was helping as an assistant coach for the varsity basketball team, and Isaac showed up one day and he got cut the next day.
And that's when I knew I was like, okay, I have to take this serious. And so, over the next few months, all I did was play basketball.
He got into basketball, and then he became their most valuable player. That was pretty amazing.
He approached football with the same resolve.
I sold all my shoes to go on to trips every weekend to these camps in the United States to try to play against the best players I could find to get my name out there.
He actually took upon himself was to sell his car in the summer so that he could raise enough money to go to a camp down in Syracuse.
I would message different schools and all this, trying to stay on top of my academics, and eventually it worked out, and I went to Southeastern Louisiana for about 4 years.
The moment that he sacked Joe Burrow in a game against LSU, it propelled him to be the #3 pick in the CFL draft.
Ashley Taylor was a part of Isaac's football journey, a coach who went out of his way when he saw his potential.
At Dartmouth High, we have athletes, and the athletes here don't always get the chance to showcase their talents because we're a smaller school when it comes to athletics. So when we have special players here, I guess it's just my job to help pay it forward.
Isaac wants to replicate this kind of mentorship himself and is doing that through his foundation, Berglund Bridge.
And it's just a way for me to account what I'm giving back and who I can give back to, and where you're able to bridge that gap between athlete and community.
He's a great example to kids coming up that you can be excellent and still be humble and put yourself on a level where you're helping those who can't give anything back to you.
I'm so proud of the team to win, and everyone believed in each other tonight. So I just got emotion for the entire team. Just so happy to be a part of this team and to be a part of this great organization.
But make no mistake, it's playoff time. That softer off-field persona will not be seen until they're over.
This is Montreal! This is Montreal! And nobody comes in here and takes it all our house!
It's such an honor to be a part of this team and to be a part of this province. And when I get to speak, I'm going to speak like that every time, just because I know that's what these fans and that's what this community wants.
Well, the odds makers over at FanDuel have the Saskatchewan Rough Riders as the Grey Cup favorites, with the Hamilton Tiger Cats as the next best odds. The longest shot is the Calgary Stampeders, the Bombers at +1,000. And some breaking news from our Matthew Shinetti. No Nick Dembski today. That hamstring not ready to go, which means much more pressure on Brady Oliveira. With more on him, here's Luke Wilson.
Everybody knows Davis Alexander is yet to lose a start. Winnipeg, the crossover team, they've been inconsistent, especially on offense this year. They're going to Montreal. It's the East semifinal. If they've got a shot, this man in their run game is their best shot. And I went back, I buzzed the film. I buzzed the film of Week 12 because Week 21's game, a lot of backups playing, hard to get a real tell what's going on. Week 12, Davis Alexander was not playing, but the bell cow Brady O was. And I want to watch some of these plays here. Brady Oliveira in this game in Week 12 rushed for 137 yards and averaged 8.6 yards per carry. He has a night like this game's going to be very, very close, and I think Winnipeg pulls it out if he has a night like this. So let's watch some of this stuff right away here, okay? So first and foremost, we've got to talk situation. It's a 3-point game. You're midway through the third quarter. It's 1st and 10. You're backed up on your own, inside your own 20. Okay, and what do they do here? They go to the bell cow. And watch this. Watch the push by the offensive line. But this is why I'm saying it's the whole unit here. Okay, you got your right guard, right tackle, double team up to the backer. To me, these are your two guys right here. Pat Neufeld, you're 14 out of Saskatchewan. Kolonowski, you're 7 out of York University. Double team here. And when you're watching these plays, watch their feet. All 4 of these guys are driving their feet, putting these guys into the next level. It's a great thing here. So here we go. We get off, and here you see it. Double team, boom. Feet are running, feet are running, feet are running. And then this is what makes Brady O so special. So I want these kids at home to watch this, okay? If you watch how Brady runs this ball here, this is called pressing the hole. At this moment right here, it's natural as a youth to just bounce outside. Hey, I think I've got it. But what Brady's going to do here is he's going to press into here because he's trying to affect this linebacker. You've got the double team going straight up here. You don't want to let him scrape either or, so you make him wrong. Watch Brady, and you'll see him. He stutters. Boom. He makes a decision. He breaks out. You got to love that. He starts rolling here. We roll to the next play. Again, it's a 3-point game. Now we're at the end of the third quarter. We're on our own 30. Look at this. Look at this first off. We highlighted the 2 guards, but really look at the whole offensive line here. I want you to watch this as they just move this whole thing. Bulls on parade. All 5 guys are just ripping right here. Look at that. And Brady hits the seam, gashes it, another explosive play. Again, this was Week 12. The man ran for 137. This is their best chance. It keeps Davis Alexander off the field, and it keeps them in great situation and good field position. And what I love now, the final play we're going to go to is the end of the game. End of the game, again, situational football here. You're up 13. There's a minute and 8 seconds left. It's 1st and 10. You got to give your flowers here to Chris Ike. I mean, Chris Ike, the fullback, gets in on the action here. It's unbelievable. Look at this hit. Ooh, here he goes. We got a little divide zone. This is called. Smacks him, and we're on, and we're off. I love this. Is real tough ball. And what I'll say again, watch the offensive line here. This entire offensive line basically wipes out, concaves this whole line this way. And then you have Chris Ike on the kick out. You see it. It's perfect ball. Guys are running their feet. And when Brady O gets in the second level, he's obviously a great runner, but he's very, very tough to bring down. And when you do bring him down, you're going to feel it. So again, obviously, Montreal is the favorite to win this game. But if this man, the Bombers' run game, can get active like they did in Week 12, this thing's going to be a lot closer than what people think. And if I'm Jason Hogan, the offensive coordinator for the Blue Bombers, this is my key matchup and the focus we got to get going early and often.
Luke, the one thing that Alouette fans want to see today is their defense slowing down Brady Oliveira. Brady led the CFL with 5.8 yards per attempt this season, also tying Dedrick Mills for the most 100-yard rushing games. The Insiders on deck. Well, if you watch our broadcast, we have been tracking the Philpott twins all season long, and the winner of the Front Seat Award and sitting with Corey is Jalen, with 830 yards receiving. Tyson right behind, though, at 804. And he does have 3 more TDs than his brother. Meanwhile, for more from around the league, here are the insiders, Dave Naylor and Farhan Lalji.
Thanks, Kate. You know, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are trying to get to the Grey Cup for a 6th consecutive time. Now, that would tie a Grey Cup record, and ordinarily a team with that body of success, you wouldn't expect to have their coach and general manager with expiring contracts. Now, but this is the way the Bombers have done business. And in fact, in O'Shea's case, this is the 4th contract he's had with Winnipeg that has got to the very end. Now, that has, of course, created some speculation about whether either or both of them will be back. I think there's some general skepticism that they would move on from either of these two men, but I think the fact that the Bombers have lost 3 straight Grey Cup games, they were 4th in the West this year, and a bad performance in the crossover game, could that lead to a change? Again, I think there's a lot of doubt about that. But certainly, Farhan, if Mike O'Shea was to come available, you'd have to think the first people calling him would be the place with a coaching vacancy right now, and that's in the nation's capital with the Ottawa Redblacks.
Yeah, call me skeptical that O'Shea would leave Winnipeg, but if it happens, I don't think they're going to move on from him. I think that would be his choice. Another former head coach that I think could be in play in Ottawa is Hamilton Ticats president of football ops, Orlando Steinauer. Now, I don't know that he's interested in this job, but I have to believe that at some point Steinauer is going to want to be a head coach again. He's simply too young to say never. He's extremely good at it, and in terms of this opening, there'd be some alignment there because he's got a real positive relationship with Ottawa general manager Sean Burke. The two men did work together in Hamilton. So, again, I think there's a fit if Steinauer wants to get back into the game in this current coaching cycle. And I also don't think that Hamilton would stand in their way. Now, as for Burke, he certainly wanted to get an extension. He'll be on an expiring contract going into 26. I don't believe he's going to get that extension, but they have given him somewhat of a vote of confidence, whatever that looks like without an extension. And what's going to happen at the quarterback position in Ottawa? Now, Drew Brown's got another year on his contract. He had a bit of an up and down season, so I do think it's likely that he'll enter next year as QB1, but I don't think that's a lock, and Burke is going to want the new head coach to have input on that decision.
Yes, of course, and Drew Brown was once the quarterback in waiting behind Zach Collaros in Winnipeg. And, of course, with Collaros at age 37, lots of interest in who would succeed him once his career is done. And, of course, one player we know it won't be for a while is Taylor Elgersma, the player they took with the 18th pick of the draft last spring out of Wilfrid Laurier, former Heck Crichton Award winner. And about a week after the CFL draft, he signed with the Green Bay Packers, played in all 3 preseason games with the Packers, and played pretty well before being released at Labor Day. But the plan right now, Elgersma is 23 years old. He wants to take another run at the National Football League. He's going to try to do workouts this offseason, get another opportunity into a training camp next summer. So I think it's unlikely that Elgersma signs in Winnipeg until we get to April or May, and that would not put him in very good position to be ready to succeed for Zach Collaros anytime soon. But Elgersma is still focused on the National Football League at this time.
And another Canadian quarterback who I expect to be on the move this offseason is Trey Ford. If you heard the postseason availabilities, everybody concerned talked about a potential change of scenery as being the best for the young pivot. Now, in terms of timing of when that decision might happen, I do think if you're Ed Hervey, you're going to want to try to potentially get some trade value back. It's going to be tough with that contract, but I think they're going to wait for the situation in Ottawa and maybe Winnipeg to sort itself out to see if anything could potentially stick there. But failing that, I would expect Edmonton to release Ford before a 6-figure contract bonus is due sometime early in the new year. So however it happens, I think Trey Ford's going to have a new home next season.
The CFL on TSN family would like to pass along our deepest condolences to the family and friends of Darius Hartshorn. Darius suffered a neck injury in a Winnipeg high school football game back on October the 17th, and he passed from those injuries this past week. Darius was just 17 years old. different result than last year's postseason when Montreal got shocked by the Argonauts at home. Lots of Bomber fans in the stands, though. We know this team travels so well. Time now for our Anytime TD picks, and you know we had to break out all the toys for the postseason. How good does this virtual set look?
I like it.
Pretty.
All right, Enoch, you're up first. Who's scoring a TD in this game today?
Kid, I'm going to go with Austin Mack. Austin Mack is a guy that is capable of a lot of things as a receiver for this Montreal team, and he hasn't had a 1,000-yard receiving season since 2023, and obviously last year he split some time in the NFL. But today is the day with Davis Alexander. He's going to have a big game.
Yeah, first playoff start for Davis Alexander. I'm going with the guy he leans on most. A lot of pressure on Davis. He's going with Tyler Snead. That's his room dog. It's the guy he trusts and believes in most. Tyler Snead's my guy, anytime touchdown.
You know what? I'm going with Tyler Snead also. I'm going with him because he's been there all year long. You talk about Mack and Phil Pott. Those were supposed to be the number one guys there, but they had some injuries. Well, Tyler Snead has been there all year long. He had the best year of his career, and you talked about who was his roommate? Davis Alexander, the tank top guy. So I'm definitely with Tyler Snead, and he also wears number 85, so that's not bad.
And by the way, I think that's the first time this season you didn't copy my pick. So I had to balance this out a little bit. I had to go with a Bomber. Well, I had to go with a Bomber, and you know who I have.
Brady.
Vavel.
Oh, Vavel! Oh!
You know why? There is no better way to silence a crowd, in my opinion, than a punt return or a kickoff return, and he's been doing it all season long, so maybe he'll do it again today. All right, let's review these picks. We'd have for Enoch Mwamba, he likes the one and only Austin Mack today. Sticking with the receivers, Ches and Milt both like Snead to score in this game. And then mine, the longest shot to score a TD is Trey Vavel at plus 900. And no one picking Davis Alexander, a perfect 11-0 as a starter. Can the Alouettes QB keep his streak alive in his first postseason start? The panel breaks him down next.
Is what it is. I don't have to be Superman all the time.
The hope of the Grey Cup lies in Davis Alexander.
Alexander does it himself. Wow, Alexander.
The longest win streak to start a career in CFL history.
How is that left leg feeling? Relatively good. I'm all right.
He's going to do it himself. Touchdown!
We got the hamstring again. It's all good. Just a little bruise, but all good.
And BT looks left, and it's picked off.
After that performance, it just wasn't good enough.
We've seen they can't win games without Davis Alexander.
11-0.
11-0. Let's keep going.
A A hamstring injury limited Davis Alexander to just 7 starts this year, but he was outstanding when healthy. Montreal, a perfect 7-0 in those games. He had a 71% completion percentage, 16 TDs, a ridiculous 106 QB rating as well. But today will be the 27-year-old's first CFL playoff experience. Look, we don't love to play favorites here on the panel, but it is really hard not to just really like Davis Alexander. Yeah. His play on the field is one thing, too, but it's just how he rallies this team. This team plays completely differently when he is healthy around his teammates. You see the way he gets his fans up as well. And Milt, I don't know about you, I am so excited for this first postseason start.
Man, without a doubt. We could talk his numbers. You showed his numbers. We could talk the fact that this team scored 34 touchdowns and 20 of them happening in 7 games that Davis Alexander was starting. But I want to talk more about his moxie, his attitude, his confidence, where some people may say it's cockiness, but I think they're both in the same, and how he carries himself. And I love it. And I know some people are concerned that he's just starting off his career and he's talking about this, but this is a quote I love more than anything. I hope they come after me. I'm built for it. If they don't believe me, they'll find out. I mean, he's putting a target on his chest, but he believes in himself. And how could he not believe in himself? He started 11 games. He's won every single game. And I think every time he steps on the field, he gets taller and taller, and that confidence builds up. So these Winnipeg Blue Bombers, they better come out early and try to take that confidence away. But if they don't, if he comes out and he gets a good start, they don't have a chance to win this game.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, he comes out, he might put a target on himself. But you know this, in playoff football, it's win or go home, and the whole franchise and city is believing in you and backing you. You don't have a choice. Right. You got a target on your back regardless, so I think you might as well embrace it. One of the things for me, and I talked to 2 quarterbacks in the league and 2 coordinators this week. And both of them agree when I heard this, that this Winnipeg defense does things that other defenses in the league just don't do, or they don't do a lot of. And just the way it usually comes from their free safety and their nickel, and kind of it looks like zone, it looks like man, then it goes to zone, and just some of the looks you're going to get are just not looks you see a lot of. Folks think that because he's young and because he hasn't seen a lot of that defense, as Milt said, he's talented, he's confident, and he's been unreal. But this defense could pose some problems just because he hasn't seen a lot of it, and it's different than the rest of the teams in the league. So I want to watch that early, watch the looks that Jordan Younger defense gives him, some of the man zone looks that hopefully for them, they can try to mix him up and make him struggle with those looks, because it is difficult.
I mean, you talk about Davis Alexander. He embraces the challenge. He embraces everything that comes with this team. He's okay with it because he has so much confidence about himself. But you talk about this defense and what they do schematically, Davis. I think this defense needs to actually get him on the run. Like, what is his weakness? What is Davis Alexander's weakness? He can throw in the pocket. He finds his receivers. He's got weapons around him. But you got to get him on the run. And the last few times that we saw him, honestly, if he wasn't on the field, he would have had more wins. But the reason why he wasn't playing was because of that hamstring. And I'm not necessarily saying that the hamstring is going to slow him down or stop him from being impactful tonight. But you got to get him on the run. Get him on the run, disrupt him when it comes to this offense, because he is confident. He knows this offense inside and out with Jason Moss. He's in his mane.
You talk about getting him on the run, you're talking about confusing him, but getting him on the run, you got to put some pressure on him.
Yep.
Willie Jefferson,
I'm looking at number 5.
I don't care how much you confuse him. You got to put pressure on him. It doesn't matter.
And it's funny, we were talking about the knockdowns this season. That's great. But in this game, you need Willie right on Davis Alexander. Montreal fans, we are excited to see Davis Alexander make his postseason debut. But Bomber fans are hoping Zach Collaro's the vet. That is an advantage for him with all the experience. A trip to Hamilton on the line next on TSN.